let me explain what's happening because this is absolutely stupid and hilarious. Sony has officially decided to sue Tencent, of all people, for blatantly copying and stealing Horizon Zero Dawn. This is like the Palworld situation, effectively, but raised to 110. So there's a lot of things to go over, and, well, let's just start because this is going to be hilarious. Tencent's new game, or at least one of their new games, is called Light of Motiram. No one knows even how to pronounce this, but just by a quick Google search and clicking on any picture, you can already see that this is basically, well, Horizon Zero Dawn. This is, you have your Aloy, you have your primitive world, probably set back to this state because of some kind of catastrophe, apocalypse, or whatever, and for some reason, we have robotic penguins. So, one for one copy of Horizon Zero Dawn already we have here, which is absolutely hilarious in my opinion. Because you know what's currently happening? Since Black Myth Wukong, China has understood, with the help of Tencent, that they can just invade the Western gaming market because they just have to remake games and remove wokeness from them. I'm serious. This is all that they are doing. They can blatantly steal, they can blatantly do a lot of things, in fact. But one of the things that they're now doing is they're just taking all of the IPs that are kinda good, have potential, and removing the wokeness from them. And, well, we all know the memes about Horizon Zero Dawn. And I'm saying memes, but this is sadly literally reality. And in the second game, they literally changed Aloy's skeleton to one of a man's for no reason whatsoever. They completely rearranged her bone structure so she's just uglier. And this is Light of Motiram. They're just making games without Vogue, and that's their strategy. After Black Myth Wukong literally became GOATY in like 5 minutes, I understand why they're doing it. So, let me introduce you to Tencent. Tencent is a Chinese new conglomerate, and the most important part that we need to look at here is that their total asset worth is roughly equivalent to 222 billion USD in assets, combined assets. Considering this is China, this is 100% lie, and the real number is way down. But it doesn't matter because no one's gonna call out China for their blatant lies and manipulation of data. Uh, Considering everything I know, this is probably 40% minimum less, actually. Then we have Sony, a new conglomerate from Japan that still says that they don't make weapons, even though their technology is found in a lot of weapons, which is very sus. But anyway, Sony, better known for gaming and probably televisions. They're a Japanese new conglomerate that, surprise, surprise, is also roughly in the asset range of 228 billion. So this is literally a battle of the titans. If these people sue each other, this court case is probably going to be 10 years, and the people leading these companies are going to die of old age before they actually see how this ends. And this is the most hilarious part. If you don't know what this game is, well, here's a little bit of it. Watch. Very basic. Effectively, I'll explain. Well, you can already see it, but let me explain if you don't get it. This is, as you can see, it's a mobile layout. Pretty garbage. Because obviously it needs to be mobile because that's Tencent wants money. Unlike the Western companies, they like money, so they're gonna try and make money. And you have your Pal World moments here. You have your Horizon Zero Dawn aesthetics. Some creatures, by the way, even blatantly look like from Horizon Zero Dawn. Only the characters don't look woke and garbage, but they'll actually look hot and feminine. And you have your Monster Hunter parts here. You know, you have your Destiny robot little helper that does things. Hopefully he's not voiced by, you know, the dwarf from Game of Thrones. What's his stupid face? Yes, it is. It is blatantly a ripoff off of many things, not only of Horizon Zero Dawn. But here's the kicker, right? A lot of people don't exactly understand what's the deal with Japan. And, well, Russia is also actually the same in this case. There's a reason no one really ever tries to sue companies from China and Russia. That's because they don't give a single crap about these lawsuits. It doesn't matter where they happen. Sony can sue Tencent, and the court proceedings can happen in Japan, China, Korea, Europe, America, Trump's Oval Office. It doesn't matter where it happens. China, if it goes bad for them, are not gonna actually, do anything. They're gonna just ignore the outcome because there is no thing that can actually force China to make their companies capitulate to a court order. They can just ignore it. Same with Russia. This is why no one sues them. So the fact that Sony is suing Tencent, a tool of the communistic government of China to push their ideologies through gaming at some point. It hasn't still happened, but it's a work in progress. Don't you worry about it. The first step of subversion is Black Myth Wukong. By the way, you introduce the cool, interesting Chinese mythologies to the other people, so they become interested slowly in your culture and whatnot. Later comes the good stuff when you get an extra bag slot for putting the Chinese flag in your Twitter bio. Oh yes, it's coming, boys, and it's gonna be hilarious. So Sony's decision to just sue them in general makes completely no sense because because Tencent is just gonna ignore the court's ruling if it's not beneficial for them. It's absolutely hilarious. And again, you're gonna be fighting that this is the same that this. And keep in mind, a lot of people don't exactly understand a lot of things here. And there's one thing that people really forget when it comes to court cases like this about pattern infringement and intellectual copyrights and things like that. That is the fact that this is Aloy. This is the light version, right? You can easily instantaneously say that the aesthetic is pretty much the same. Almost. But you need to understand one thing. There are multiple ways that you can look at IP. And one of them is, are you just copying something unique that they have? Like a system, for example. In this case, we have the prehistoric world that probably got made like that because of a nuclear disaster. Actually, let's use this one. You have an Aloy, a tribal, but with modern day technology or advanced technology. And you have robot dinosaurs and things like that. These things are not actually unique. If any other game has elements like this, for example, a tribal settlement that has bigger technology than previous, Sony is not going to sue them because that's not a unique thing. That has been done. Robot dinosaurs, we have seen it a million times. Savages with advanced technology, same thing. A world that has been pushed back to the Stone Age by an apocalyptic event, same. But when you combine all of these things together, this is where the actual Sony lawsuit is going to take hold. Because it is really hard to combine like 3 or 4 things that make Horizon Zero Dawn what it is. And then just it's really hard to just accidentally combine all of these elements over again. And that's obvious. That's the part that Tencent is going to get sued over because it's a blatant try to replicate, well, this. But what can Sony actually do to stop them? Probably nothing. Probably nothing. Tencent is going to just go ahead with this. There's not going to be any problems for them. And Sony's going to, kick dirt. Unless they, ask some of their companies to blow up Tencent. That they work with, obviously, because Sony doesn't make weapons, as they have claimed from 2014 or something like that, since that technology has been found in multiple weapons. No, again, no one knows. Sony, so probably, don't sue me, okay? You're probably not doing that. And then you can see, again, if you have not checked at these things, it's absolutely just a combination of Palworld, Horizon Zero Dawn, some base building like Rust or whatever. It is very blatantly that there are absolutely zero unique things about this game that they are making. Oh, and obviously Monster Hunter. The big battles are supposed to be like Monster Hunter. I don't know if they're in this video. There's also a glider because Fortnite, obviously. I don't know if we can find an actual big battle with something, but yeah, you see the weapon. Yeah, that's Monster Hunter right there. But again, why does Sony sue Tencent at this point? I have no idea. Probably because they see the writing on the wall. Because while Sony is a Japanese company, they still have been extremely infected by wokeness in a lot of those things. So in the upcoming future, Tencent is probably just gonna steal a lot of IPs by companies that have actually kind of have had good ideas, but have completely effed them up with wokeness. And Light of Motiram is gonna be one of the first things that happens. So expect a lot of other hilarious things. I don't know what's gonna happen with this, but you know, I mean, good luck. Good luck, Sony. Bye.